So today I'm gonna show you, I'm gonna prepare my favorite meal. So these are the beef wraps. I'm gonna use these wraps. They have 30%, 35% of carrots in them, but you can use also simple white wraps. This doesn't matter that much. And we're gonna make these wraps with 400 grams of lean beef. And there are 6 wraps in this pack. If you check in the grams, this is 400 grams per pack. What we also need for this meal is 1 red onion. We have 7 cherry tomatoes, small tomatoes, and a piece of red bell pepper as well for the taste. We're gonna put this in. So we're gonna also use a couple of pieces of lean cheese. So when you buy cheese, if it's something in the Netherlands, it shows like 30 plus, it means this is lighter cheese. So this cheese have more protein and less fats. So when you're using this cheese, it goes well with the meals which are dense in carbohydrates. So if you are eating something like wraps already have those carbohydrates. So you want to add a little bit less of fats and more of protein in those kind of meals in order to get ripped, to stay in shape, to get the best effect from this meal. So we're gonna make it quickly. First, I always warm up the pan. I already cut the tomatoes and onion. I'm gonna just put them in the pan just like this. I don't even use oil when I am cooking beef because the moment I put beef inside, it has some fats in it, so it kind of moistures the pan. And if you like to add oil, you can add it too, but it's not that necessary for this meal. So, as you see, you can cut the pepper just like that in smaller pieces. Cherry onions I cut just in half. This is enough. And I already add them in my pan. Also red onion we're gonna cut into smaller pieces. Now after I put tomatoes and red pepper, I leave them for something like 3 minutes to get more shredded, to get into heat. And I put the onions right away. And after something like 3 minutes, then I put the beef on top of that. So that onions and tomatoes are a little bit like cooked already. And then when you put the beef on, it goes really well together. So mix them up just like this. So as you see, there are onions, tomatoes, and red bell pepper. So when you buy beef, if you want to make wraps, it's good idea to buy beef which is more lean. So there are less fats in this kind of beef and more protein. And as a result, you get a little bit less of calories, but you get good amount of protein. And protein is the most important macronutrient you want to eat, either though you want to gain muscle, you want to burn body fat. Protein is numero uno. When you try to track something, always prioritize your protein. So, the tomatoes and onions are already a little bit shredded. I put beef meat just like this. Make sure you take off the paper from the pack. And then what I do, I make beef into smaller pieces right away. Because after it gets cooked, it's harder to shred them into smaller pieces. So I do that right away after I put them in because I like beef in small pieces. Like this is minced beef, so you have to put it apart a little bit. And as a result, it gets really nicely shredded. It gets that dark brown color when it's getting cooked. Okay, so now beef is already in smaller pieces. The next thing I do, I use this sea salt. So sea salt is much better than simple that sodium, iodium salt. Sea salt have electrolytes, and electrolytes are helpful for you, especially when you are hydrating more, when you want to burn more body fat, build up more muscle mass. You drink more water. You drink at least 5 liters of water per day. So you want to keep that in mind, that you want to add more electrolytes. So sea salt is a great source of electrolytes. So we put some salt on top. And another spice I use is simple black pepper. So this goes really nice with beef mince. Some people like to put spices in the end of the meal. However, I like to put them right away after I put the meat, because then they kind of are being absorbed by the meat, and the meat tastes much more better afterwards. So again, we mix the beef. Listen, when I prepare my meals, I don't take longer than 20 minutes. So I just put all the ingredients and I put the heat on. The heat is a little bit higher than the low heat, so that I get my meal faster. I'm not here cooking for hours with the pots around, you know. I understand that the most important part is what I put into my meal and not how it's being prepared or how long I take in the kitchen cooking out there, you know. I have shit to do, so that's the goal for my meal, is just to get my macros in, to get the right amount of protein, to get complex carbohydrates. So these wraps, especially if they have some percentage of veggies inside, a little bit more colorful wraps, those are like complex carbohydrates. They have some fiber as well, so this is a good choice when you are preparing your meals if your goal is to get ripped. So while the beef is cooking, what I'm gonna do, I'm already gonna put the wraps and prepare them for wrapping up. So again, I'm gonna use this light cheese. For those who joined the video just now, you will be able to watch it after I post it, after I finish the video. So I take piece, one slice, I make it in half, and one half I put into one wrap. So just like this. One slice of cheese is 30 grams, so one half of this is 15 grams of cheese. Later I'm gonna show you how I log in everything into my app, into MyFitnessPal, so that I know how much of protein, how much of fats, how much of carbs I'm getting from this meal. Because tracking is really important, guys. A lot of people think that they eat good amount of protein, for example, but when they start actually tracking how much of protein they are consuming, they realize that they have to raise up the amount in order to reach their goals. So my daily goal of protein per day is around 250 grams at least. When I'm training 2 times per day, I eat more of protein. I eat something like 300 grams per day. So that's the point of tracking. When you track, you know the numbers of how much of food you're consuming. It makes your diet as, it's like impossible to fail, because you know the exact amount of macronutrients you're consuming, and this is the most important part to get ripped, to get into your best shape. Because the thing is, the numbers never lie. If you try to remember everything you ate for a day, you won't have the accurate amount of the macronutrients you have consumed. But when you are tracking them, you log in them into your app, you're gonna advance much more quicker, bro. You're gonna be above of 90%, 95% of people who are going to the gym who are not tracking their macros. You're gonna get much more better results from your training the moment you're gonna track your macros. So, when the beef is already not red anymore, it has already that kind of gray color, then I smash them into even smaller pieces. And then leave for cooking for a couple of more minutes until beef gets really dark brown, because I like the beef to be a little bit more crunchy. They taste much more better than when they are a little bit more like hard, more crunchy. This is the beef I go for. And in the end of cooking, I also add some black beans. So I'm gonna already prepare this just by filling the water out. Sometimes I rinse it with a little bit of water, so that liquid of beans is also away. And black beans, they also have some fibers. And when you are eating carbohydrates together with fibers, the thing is, the carbohydrates become like complex carbohydrates. The release to your bloodstream of those carbohydrates, the sugar release is much slower when you add more fiber. So if you want to add more fiber to the wraps, simply you can add some beans. And then you have more fiber, not only quick carbohydrates, but together with fiber, when it's being digested in your belly, the release of sugar is slower. So this is what makes the carbohydrates as complex carbohydrates. So if you heard that term, that white bread is not complex carbohydrates, that this is fast carbohydrate. For example, fruit as well are like quick carbohydrates. They become as sugar really quickly when they enter your bloodstream. If you want to slow it down, the release of sugar, so that you don't have those blood sugar spikes, you don't have blood sugar drops, you add some beans. So I already added some beans in the beef. I mix them up, and the last part what I use also for these wraps is Heinz ketchup. When beef is almost ready, I put some ketchup and make it like boil together with beans. Then they absorb this flavor from the ketchup, and it becomes like a sauce, like a chili sauce, how much I put of it, it's easy to see from the bottle. So I put something like maybe 1/8 of the full bottle, and the bottle has 650 grams in it. So I put something like 80 grams of ketchup, and that's what I'm gonna log in into MyFitnessPal after the meal is ready. Okay, so now beef is ready, the beans are there, ketchup is there. I just gonna close the pan and make it to absorb the sauce. And here is how I log in my meal. If you want to start your macros, you want to download this app. It's called MyFitnessPal. It works also with iPhones, also with Androids. So make sure you have this app. This is one of the best apps because it works all around the world. Wherever you are, you can find the exact products to log in which you are eating, and as a result, you track your macros, you get into better shape much quicker. So first thing, I'm gonna log in Mager runtergehakt. So this is called lean beef mince in the Netherlands. It's called like this. And I'm gonna put amount as 400 grams because one pack of beef had 400 grams. And as a result, it already shows in the app that it has 40 grams of fat and 80 grams of protein. So I already get 80 grams of protein. My goal for the day is I get 250 grams. 80 grams of it I get already from the beef. And then you just put how many grams of it you're eating. You can select a meal. Is it for breakfast, for lunch, for dinner, for whatever. I put it as lunch, and you press this one on the top of right corner. Bam, this meal is already in the app. I already know that just by eating beef, I already consumed a good amount of protein. Next thing I'm gonna log in is those wraps. So the wraps with carrots. So this is called wortelwrap van Knorr. Knorr is the company which made the wrap. So when you're looking for a product, you go into search and you write the words which are on the package. This way you can find the meal in this app. Doesn't matter which country you are from. You can write the exact name as it's written on the product, and it's gonna appear in the search because some people from your country been already logging in their meals with MyFitnessPal. And this is why I like this app a lot, because it doesn't matter where the person who is working with me is from. I help them to log in their meals. They can find their meals even though if they're eating out, sometimes they find the meals on MyFitnessPal, and this way they can track them and get best results. So I have those wraps. Those are in my search. I already used them to log in. It shows one wrap and it shows number of servings. So there are 6 wraps in the package. So I press the number 6 and I already logged in my wraps. The next thing is cheese. Cheese is also quite high in calories, so I'm gonna make sure I track the cheese. So when I write 30 plus, I already logged in this cheese before, so it appears like this. I added 3 pieces of 90 grams. So this is 3 pieces of 30 grams are all together 90 grams. So one slice of the cheese is 30 grams. So all I have to do is, if you want to do the same when you're preparing your meal, you put the amount in grams that you put into your meal. So I put 90 grams for lunch. I press this, bam, I already logged in my cheese as well. What else is going into this meal is cherry tomatoes. So It's already here, 80 grams of cherry tomatoes. I put it in, 1 serving of 80 grams. Bam, this is logged in. Another thing is I put some of Heinz ketchup. So I'm gonna write in the search Heinz ketchup. And then I'm gonna choose 1 gram, and I put again around 80 grams of the ketchup in this all beef. So I put on 80 lunch. This is gonna be 23 carbs, 23 grams of carbs. I press this one, bam, this meal is logged in already. So later you can check on your app, for example, this is the lunch I logged in. So this is, you see, this is beef, this is wraps, this is cheese, tomatoes, and some of the ketchup. This is most important part. If you want to get the best results on your fitness journey, you want to track your meals. When you're tracking your meals, again, you don't leave your diet on chance. You know, you make sure that your diet is on point. A lot of people think that if they're gonna buy some bio organic products or gonna boil their meat or do stuff like this, that they're gonna get in the best shape, that this is the healthy eating. But the healthy eating is knowing the amount of food you're consuming. Because guess what, if you want to burn body fat, you have to create caloric deficit. You have to consume a little bit less of calories than you burn throughout the day, and as a result you're gonna be burning body fat. You're gonna get shredded, you know, your muscles gonna look much more toned, you're gonna have that muscle definition. And the most accurate way to do that is by tracking. You must track how much of food you're consuming, and when you get that number right, it's only matter of time when you're gonna get into your best physique. So that's how you can track. If you want to download this app, it's called MyFitnessPal, and just start tracking. You're gonna see how much quicker you're gonna get the results you want. So after beef is ready, what I do, I make those wraps. I just put some beef, just like this. Just roll them. Okay, this is wrap. I'm gonna eat some of them today. So another thing I do as well is I have one like this at work, and this is a great choice for guys who are working somewhere where they are able to bring their own grill. So what I usually do, it doesn't matter even though if you're eating at home, when you have a grill, you make a wrap, you put that in, bam, it gets even better, it gets like shredded, you know, it gets cooked. And bro, this meal is full of protein. If you're gonna eat those kind of meals for most of the days on your fitness journey, you're gonna get amazing results, because it has everything that must be in your meal. It has good amount of protein, it has complex carbohydrates, it has some veggies in it, and that's it tastes really amazing. This is, I'm telling you, this is my favorite meal. This tastes like better than in some kind of fast food restaurants. In most of them you can get some food. If you gonna check this video again and try to do them yourselves, you're gonna see that this is the meal which also makes you look good, feel good, and it's kind of easy to make, simple to make. So, and it doesn't take that long time. It took something like 20 minutes to make. This is already ready. And those meals can be for a day or two. If you want more, then just double up the size of the beef. Sometimes I cook for a couple of days, so I put 2 packs of beef, and then I just put in the fridge for the next day. Nothing happens in one day, you know, and I save time as a result. I don't have to cook twice. I cook only once, but I double the portion. So I put 2 packs of beef. I make, instead of 6 wraps, I make more wraps, like maybe 12 wraps, and some of them I put in the fridge for the next day, so that I have delicious, nutritious meal, which gets me the best shape. So, leave some comments. What kind of videos would be most useful on your fitness journey next? So this was mostly simultaneously. I thought I'm gonna cook my meal. I'm gonna show you how you can do the same, because a lot of you guys might find this useful. You want to eat more healthy, you want to get ripped. This is the food what I am eating, and it really gets great results for a lot of people who are implementing same meal prep tactics, eating similar meals like me. So drop in the comments what kind of video should I make next. Is it a training video? Maybe you want that I break down some kind of training plan, or maybe some meal prep ideas. Let me know. I'm gonna make this kind of video further on. Peace.